Today, we're diving into something pretty wild, an experiment where researchers basically gave an AI the keys to our digital world and asked it a super simple but also kind of terrifying question.
So, here's the big question. Can an AI actually outsmart our very best digital defenses? I mean, can a language model do what only the most skilled human hackers could do before? Find a weakness and build a weapon to crack it wide open, all by itself? Okay, let's get into this because honestly, the results are, well, they're pretty mind-blowing.
All right, so the first part of this whole story is basically a setup for a major showdown. The researchers built this digital fortress, right? A piece of software that's locked down with all sorts of modern, top-of-the-line security. And the AI's mission? Simple. Break in.
And listen, what's really wild here is just how tough this fortress was. We are not talking about a simple password. Just look at this list. We've got defenses that shuffle code around randomly, stuff that stops unauthorized actions in their tracks, things that double-check every single move the program makes. For a human hacker, each one of these is a massive headache. The AI had to beat all of them, one after the other.
And it did. The GPT 5.2 agent just systematically tore down every single one of those defenses. It didn't just stumble upon a way in. No, it created a totally new 7-step exploit chain to get the job done. This thing was so clever that the researcher who designed the whole test had never even seen anything like it before. Okay, so you might be thinking, that's a cool trick. But this wasn't just a one-off stunt. This was actually part of a much bigger experiment. Researchers were pitting AI agents against what are called zero-day vulnerabilities. You know, those dangerous flaws that nobody knows about yet. So let's look at the numbers.
And the performance? I mean, it was just incredible. GPT 5.2, that's the bigger bar you see here, had a perfect score, 100%. It solved every single problem thrown at it. And the other model, Opus 4.5, it wasn't exactly a slouch either. It succeeded in most of the cases. This isn't a fluke, folks. This is a proven capability.
And get this, the AIs weren't just solving the problem once and calling it a day. Across all these different scenarios, they generated over 40 distinct working exploits. They were essentially running a factory, mass-producing digital keys to lock doors.
And the speed? It's just nuts. Most of these incredibly complex hacking challenges, the kind of thing that could take a human expert days, maybe even weeks, the AIs solve them in under an hour. That kind of speed, it changes everything.
But, this right here might be the most shocking number of all. That 7-layer fortress we talked about earlier, the cost to beat it? About $50. $50 in compute tokens. That's it. For the price of a decent lunch, the AI cracked one of the toughest nuts out there. This puts an absolutely immense amount of power within reach of, well, pretty much anyone.
So, what's the big takeaway here? What does all this data really point to? Well, we're not just looking at a smarter hacking tool. Not at all. We're looking at a fundamental shift in how cyberattacks are even created. The source material calls it the industrialization of hacking.
The industrialization of intrusion. So what does that actually mean? Well, it means the thing holding back an organization from creating cyber weapons is no longer the number of brilliant, highly trained hackers they can find and hire. Nope, it's simply their budget for AI tokens. It completely transforms hacking from this bespoke, artisanal craft into a mass production industry.
And this comparison just nails it, right? We are moving from a world of human artisans where every single exploit is this time-consuming, handcrafted masterpiece to a full-on industrial model. Now, you just feed tokens into the machine, it searches for solutions, and it spits out exploits on a scale we have just never seen before.
Okay, but hold on. Before we all run for the hills and declare the end of cybersecurity as we know it, we need a serious reality check. The experiment had some really important limitations that we have to understand. It's not quite game over, at least not yet.
All right, first off, the program the AI was attacking, it was way simpler than a massive, complex application like, say, the Chrome browser. Second, the AI wasn't inventing brand new, never-before-seen ways to break security. It was just really good at chaining together known types of weaknesses, which is what human hackers do too. The real novelty was in the combination, not the individual ingredients.
And this table is super important to understanding the context. What the AI did was offline exploit development. It happened in a controlled lab. But in the real world, hackers are operating in a live, hostile environment. You make one little mistake, and bam, you're detected and locked out for good. The penalty for failure out there is extremely high, and that's a whole different ballgame from just trying again with a few more tokens.
Okay, so now that we know the capabilities and the limits, where does this all leave us? Let's talk about the future of this digital arms race and what we really need to be watching for.
So the author of the source material proposes this idea of a canary in the coal mine. Think about the job of a site reliability engineer, an SRE. Their work is actually pretty similar to hacking. They have to navigate this incredibly complex live system where one wrong move could bring the whole thing crashing down. So, the theory is, if we start seeing AI agents that can successfully automate SRE work, that's a huge signal that they can probably automate live hacking too.
And that brings us right to the author's call to action. He basically argues that we need the big AI labs and security institutes to stop testing on these simple toy problems. He says they need to start throwing billions of tokens at real hardened targets like Firefox or the Linux kernel. As he puts it, and I'm quoting here, I would love to read something like, we spent X billion tokens running our agents against Firefox and produced Y exploits. Even if the answer is 0, the data is what matters. We just need to know what these models are truly capable of.
And so, all of this leaves us with one final critical question. All the evidence seems to suggest we are on the brink of an era where cyber weapons aren't painstakingly crafted by hand, but are simply manufactured at scale. So for every defender, and really for every single one of us who relies on digital systems, the question isn't if we need to prepare for this world, it's how.